Plaintiff Sonia Singleton says the defendant claims to be married to her father, but Sonia doesn't know if that's true because she says the defendant is married to someone else. Sonia claims the defendant has banned her from seeing her father, who suffers from dementia, and she also refused to give her father his medication, so she's suing. Defendant Brendley Clark Singleton says Sonia hasn't spoken to her father in over a year, and she only banned Sonia from the house after she filed false reports against Brendley with Adult Protective Services, claiming she was trying to kill her husband. She's countersuing for emotional distress.
Start with you.
Your Honor, I'm here before you today with a heavy heart. I did not in a million years think I would have to do something like this, but under the circumstances, it needs to be done. I'm suing for emotional distress because I have been denied access to my father by the person standing to my left. And I say person because I don't even know if she's married to my father.
Is your father incapacitated or something?
He has dementia.
Okay. And she's his caretaker and his wife?
I don't know what she is. I know she married him in '94, but I know she married somebody else. So I don't know if she's still legally married to my father or if she just committed bigamy.
Okay. And when you've attempted to see him, what has she said or done?
I'm banned from his property by her. I'm suing for emotional distress because I have been denied access to my father by the person standing to my left. And I say person because I don't even know if she's married to my father.
Plaintiff Sonia Singleton says the defendant claims she's married to her father, and Sonia says she called Adult Protective Services on the defendant because she was neglecting her father.
Where did all this come from?
As far as her not liking me, I found out, I think it was in '06.
Okay, and when did it lead to her attempts to keep you from visiting your father?
Recently. She left my father in 2013. She moved back in 2014.
Okay.
Since she moved back, I virtually can't speak to my father. I've been banned from the property, as I said.
Okay. Why do you think that is?
I was banned from the property on March 21st of last year when my granddaughter was abducted. I feel it was a setup. I dropped my granddaughter off to my father's property where my daughter had came to visit for visitation. And no sooner than I dropped her off, my daughter called the person to my left. She told me on the cell phone, it was on speaker, get off the property, otherwise I'd be arrested.
That's what I'm asking. Where did this come from? You have no idea where this animosity comes from?
No.
Never bothered to ask?
Well, actually, no. I supposedly said I was trying to destroy their marriage.
Okay.
This was years ago, which it festered. I didn't find out about that.
Did you have a problem with their marriage?
No. I didn't have a problem with her. We've actually lived under the same roof. We've gone out together.
Okay. Let me hear from you, ma'am.
I believe the problem started when she came to stay with us.
When was that?
That was in 2000. I invited her to live with us and her two daughters, our granddaughters, to live with us. And I was director of a charter school. Made sure she had a place to stay, and I employed her at the school where I worked. The problem came when she provided fraudulent application for the school, and I was forced to speak to her and ask her about the fraud and gave her the option to resign or be terminated. She chose to resign, and I immediately went home and talked to my husband, her father, because I was concerned that, he wasn't aware of that. Ever since she had to resign from the school, I had to deal with disrespect from her two girls. She would come to my house, would be disrespectful, wouldn't speak, just walk in as though it was hers. I heard many times that it's my father's house and we're not going anywhere. Her father and I...
See, ma'am, she's very clear on why. You act like you had no idea, so I'm inclined to believe her.
That was the only issue.
Because you just couldn't tell me, you even did some head like that. Didn't you do that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I know you did, yes.
So prior to the situation at the school, there was no issue that I was aware of. And this has gone on since 2000.
Well, she said you have kept her from visiting with her dad. And so, can you tell me any instance in which she has come to visit and you've refused her?
No. She has been welcome. Even I've told him that she's welcome to come anytime because the doctor expressed how important it was for family.
Let me ask you. Give me an example of when she has refused you.
Her and my father went to Arizona. My father was left in Arizona. I was able to communicate with my father on his phone. As soon as they got back together, there was no communication.
When you call, what would happen then?
It would go to voicemail, or either it would ring and go to
You say as
voicemail. I
soon
send
as they got
texts and I
back.
get no response.
Okay, did you know where they were when they were back together?
In North Carolina,
Did you know where they were living?
yes, sir.
That wasn't in the same state?
It was in the same state, but I was banned from the property. In March
Legally?
of yes, sir. If I step foot on the property, I
When
can get
did that
arrested.
occur?
March 21st of 2015.
She called the police or has a restraining order?
No. In the state of North Carolina, if the homeowner tells you to stay off their property, you have to, otherwise you can be arrested for trespassing.
Yes, every state.
Okay.
So next state over is the same thing. Up is the same thing. Down is the same thing.
When my father went to Arizona, my father was left in Arizona. I was able to communicate with my father on his phone. As soon as they got back together, there was no communication.
Plaintiff Sonia Singleton says the defendant claims she's married to her father, and Sonia says she called Adult Protective Services on the defendant because she was neglecting her father.
Ma'am, have you told her to stay away from the property? And if so, why?
I asked her not to return to my property back in January of 2015. She came by with her youngest daughter, and they told me that it was not my house. It was their father and grandfather's house, and that they're not going anywhere, but I am. But Judge Mathis, she hasn't spoken to her father since March 27th of 2015.
She said you won't let her.
There's no restraining orders. I've never filed a restraining order. She's never been told not to.
You
And
told
this-
her not to come to the house?
in January. That was in January.
Well, what happened before then to cause you to ban her?
She came to the house and they were threatening to do some things to me and my granddaughter
Why?
at that time. She didn't want me with her father. I had never done anything. I never speak to her.
She filed court papers to try and get an order of protection against me.
Yeah, after you kept showing up, I agree,
No.
but I need to hear something is missing about when it first began, the most recent issue.
Okay, in February of 2015.
Okay.
Okay, James was diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia in January.
Okay.
In February, Miss Singleton, I'm alleging, I shouldn't say she did, I allege that she called DSS and told them that I was trying to kill him, I wouldn't give him his medication, I was isolating him from family, and they investigated me in February of 2015.
Did you do this, ma'am?
Yes and no. Why I say I did not allege that she was trying to kill them. The only thing I said to them is she was denying him medication.
Where did you get that from?
From her and from the
She
fact
told
that
you?
she wasn't. Can you ask your question again, please?
She told you she wasn't giving your father his medicine?
She told me that when the dementia medicine that he was supposed to take, it was too expensive. It was almost $200. That being my father, I investigated. The medicine was only $12. When she left and was no longer in the house, living in the house in 2013.
No. 2015. You call her, and she says, the medication is too expensive.
We were at the house. We were conversating about my father's condition, and she stated that the medication was too expensive. It was almost $200.
She wasn't buying it.
Correct. He was
Okay.
not, he didn't have it. When I found out that it was only $12, got the prescription from his doctor, it was filled, he started taking the medication.
Okay, is
So-
that true?
No, it's not true, Judge Mathis.
Go ahead, finish with your story.
I was going to his doctor's appointments with him. The tension is so thick between us when we're in the room, to the three of us, it affects my father.
And it all started because of the medicine.
That's the major part of it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
And your counterclaim is for what?
I've had 4 DSS reports. The latest one was in November of 2015. We weren't allowed to even leave the state because I was under investigation for 4 weeks for the same thing that I was trying to kill him. About the cell phone, because he has Alzheimer's and dementia, James has lost his cell phone 3 times. We just replaced one last week. So half the time his ringer is off, and I got a house phone so I can get a hold of him.
Do you have any evidence of those reports being filed?
I don't have any. I went to them and I couldn't get it, but I do have proof from.
You get a copy of reports that have been
I went.
filed and investigated.
Yeah,
now.
I went to the office on Monday. I did.
All right, and they just couldn't give it to you then.
They told me they were going to fax it to me once they spoke to their lawyer.
All right, no government agency acts very quickly.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I can buy that. I can buy that, but I don't know whether it's true or not. Did you request investigations? 4 different investigations?
No, I
of
did
her?
not request 4 different investigations. I
Any?
did not. Yes, I did.
Okay, how many?
2.
When?
I called Adult Protective Services because she was not administering medicine. In 2014,
What month?
I received a call in December. So it was December 1st is when I received the call.
What was the result of that investigation?
I don't know. I can't find out.
What was your next time? Okay.
Plaintiff Sonia Singleton says the defendant claims she's married to her father. And Sonia says she called Adult Protective Services on the defendant because she was neglecting her father.
What was your next time? Okay. I do believe that you have suffered emotional distress based on her.
Your Honor,
Ma'am, that's enough. You haven't been able to respond. Something's not going well for you today, but I am going to grant her $2,000 for those reports that you didn't even follow up to see what the result was. Have a good day. Counterclaim at $2,000. Yours dismissed.
We know
are a
that
bigamist.
she's done
So you won
deceitful,
$2,000 based on a lie,
people
but
for
you're a
long time
bigamist.
ago, you
You're
know?
a bigamist.
I hope you can move on with your life. now.
Bigamist.
I really hope you can move on with your life.
And I hope you don't kill my father. You already let
father
him
could use
go
somebody to
missing
care
in
for him.
Arizona for 15 hours. You're trying to kill him.
He's
And I'm
standing
saying
right
it
here,
on national TV.
being harmed by her
Okay?
now, verbally. This is what we go through since 2000.
You're a liar.
This is what we've gone through since 2000.
No, I'm saying
You got
it
a good
now
example here. I've
because
never
the nation will
attacked
see
her
who
in
you
any
truly
way.
are. Yes, you have.
I've never said anything. I don't even talk to you.
You
I
set
don't
up
even
my
talk to
granddaughter
her.
to be abducted.
You can ask her father. He's
with
standing
dementia.
right there. He loves.
Now you want to ask him something? Why are you bringing him into it? It's between you and I.
No.
It's between you and I.
You've been doing this for years.